Good afternoon. Welcome. Let's get situated here. Let me see if anybody's here. Welcome to Pat's Stamping Place. This is Pat Mayer. Okay, I'm live. From Akron, Ohio. That's in Northeast Ohio. And we are enjoying beautiful weather right now. So let me know if you are here. I will wait a couple minutes and then get started. So I have some fun things to show today. If you read the preview, if you are on Facebook, I'm going to be showing the Around the Bend die set. Hey, Rose, looking forward to this class. Good, glad you're here. Thank you. So let's see. I'm going to flip you down to my desktop here very shortly. And Shirley's here. Welcome. Okay, let's go down here. Okay, today is the 20th of February, so we have 8 more days of celebration. And I was just looking through my envelopes and some of my paper. So that's what I'm going to do this week to see if there's stuff that I need, especially things that I know are going to stay, like envelopes. I always need envelopes. I'm kind of low on the white ones too. And I'm pretty sure, knocking on wood, that we are going to have a color refresh this year, at least based on the new online exclusive set that we have. And I talked about that last week. So I'll probably share a little bit more with that next week, because customers can order that on March 1st. And believe it, will be March 1st. And we were talking this morning to a lady. I went to Cracker Barrel after I had my doctor's appointment, and we're wondering whether March is going to come in like a lion or it's going to come in like a lamb. So what do you think? Okay, so celebration is almost over, and I do know for sure, and I really didn't get a chance to check otherwise, that the Dainty Designs or Dainty Flowers 12 by 12 paper is out. That is gone. So I'm not going to show that today, but I do have some samples with it because I do have quite a bit of that paper. Love it. And I'm not totally aware of others from this brochure that have sold out. And there are other options as well. And I don't have that paper handy. I'm going to be showing today this Favored Flowers paper, which is on page 11. It is lovely. And so I'll put that away. But the die set and stamp bundle that I'm going to feature today is the Around the Bend bundle. I'm going to do probably more with the dies, and the stamp set is obviously lovely, but I also want to point out something that I have just failed to do every week since January started, that some of the stamps in the mini catalog are both cling, which is the red rubber where you have to put the sticker on, and photopolymer. You have a choice. The price is identical, so that doesn't change. And I think this one is obviously better with the photopolymer because you've got some curves there and things like that. The other thing that, let's flip back here. Okay, got a sticky. In the back, you see it as well, and it again shows cling or photopolymer for $52 for the bundle, but it's a good place to look for samples and ideas. The other thing that I'm going to show first is I tend to buy these Enjoy the Adventure Memories and More cards and the Enjoy the Adventure Memories and More card pack. I don't have this. It's designed mostly for scrapbooking, but the cards and envelopes, you can cut them up, use them for scrapbooking if you want, but they are great cards to have. You get 20 card bases and 20 envelopes. They are a little bit bigger. They're 4 1/4, which is our regular, and by 6 1/4. So they're a little bit bigger when you might want a bigger card. You can also cut them down to our regular 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 for a card front. Let me show you. I have to get out of the way here. What these look like before I show you the sample that I'm going to make. You get all these envelopes, and a lot of people will get these and what we call deconstruct them. So you could take even the envelope apart, and it's fully lined with the black and the white stripe. It's got some stars on the front, and then these are the cards. And they've just got this nice, they don't have a feel-like texture, but they do have a texture look to the card and a little ombre look. And I love these. So I am going to make myself use them. The one that I'm going to show today is the Mango Melody and Petal Pink. And then I do have one already made up that shows this. And they're just a great deal for $10. So $10 for 20 cards and envelopes that you can do so much more with than just fold them over. So think about that. And then the colors in there are Balmy Blue, Basic Black, which is the envelope, Mango Melody, Mint Macaron, and Petal Pink. So great choice for a product that you might be looking for. So let's get going, and that's what I'm going to start with first. Let's put that aside, and let me show you these dies. Okay, there are 14 stamps, but 11 dies in this set. And some of them are designed to go around and curve. A couple of years ago, we had a curvy stamp set and die set. And then there was one that came out for Christmas too. And that was very seasonal, and that got retired very quickly. So we've got these cool flowers. And what's nice is they have, if you can see these in here, they've got a nice design and etch in there. So basically they're stamping and embossing at the same, or cutting and embossing at the same time. We've got this one. So I'm going to show this one today. And then I have samples to show with most of the others. This nice little scallop that's got a curve on it. Some little hearts. I have not even cut these out yet. I should do that. But they're all linked together, but you do get 5 separate little hearts. A really nice little daisy. And a center for the daisy, several leaves. And then this one is a curved one with stitching on it. And that also has a stamp that goes with it. So I'm going to grab this one right now. And if you can see this, you'll see that the scallop kind of matches the curve on that. So I would not necessarily call this a standalone stamp set or die set, but it definitely could be standalone if you didn't want the stamp set or the bundle, because you can do so many things with this set of dies. A lot of leaves in here that can be used with other stamps. Some little flowers. And again, this is the center for the daisy. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to make sure I hold on to that because it just seems to want to fly away. And yesterday, I picked up a stamp, turned around. I cannot find it for a minute. I cannot find it. So I'm going to have to bring in a big light or a lantern or something and look for that, because I know it's here somewhere. And I even looked on my clothes, on the wastebasket, because those photopolymer stamps are little rascals and they might just fit anywhere. They fly. All right, this is the stamp set. There are 14 stamps here with these smaller flowers and little leaves. And you can see where this one kind of matches up. Some little bubbles look like they match that one die. I've not used that one. Beautiful little corner stamp here. And then this kind of round one. I've seen some of this done stamped and made it look like a rainbow. So you could stamp it several times to get a rainbow look. So let's get going. All right, so I'm going to bring over my big Stampin' Cut and Emboss so you can see how this works and lay it out. I do have one already cut out in case I mess something up. Let's get the handle going the right way. Let me zoom out just a little bit. My zoom doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, it's not cooperating. So I want to align this so that this side is even here. Obviously, I don't want any of my leaves to go off the edge. And I'm going to tape that down with some Post-it tape, because this is one I definitely don't want to slide off the paper. Okay, let's line it up with plate 1, plate 2, a 3. Let's put this in here. Now, I don't want this to wiggle. I did one where this seemed to be over the edge just a tad, because remember, this is like 6 1/4. And it did crinkle it a little bit up here, but I just smoothed it out with my finger. And I'll show you that one because I already did one. So this can work that way. All right. And let me put it in this way so that the die cut goes through first instead of last. And let's see if I can do this without standing up. I should probably stand up. I think I will stand up because normally I do when I'm using the big machine. There we go. So it's halfway through. Rather than go through all the way over here, I'm just going to back it back out again. And let's see how that works. Perfect. So, how was everybody's weekend? We've had good weather. Cannot complain about that. Okay, there's a little bit of, sometimes you can just snap those things out. And then get these other pieces out. Now, because this is a little bit bigger paper, Gonna take my snips and just snip that part off up there to match it up with the stitching. Easy peasy. Fold the card, and there we've got it. And let's grab a bone folder here and give that a nice crease. I love the ombre look of that, which would be hard to get with another card. Now here was the one that I originally did, and you know what, Rose, that's a good question. I don't always, but I thought because this paper was a little bit wider that I didn't want it to go all the way through, because what I found on this one that I did first, that's where it crinkled right there when I started it through this way first, and then it crinkled by the time I got to the die. So but most of the time I either don't pay attention to what I'm doing, that doesn't make a lot of sense, or I put the die through first, or excuse me, the die through as it goes at the end. But this one was definitely easier, and it did not crinkle up this paper at all. But that is a great question. And actually, I can see this here. I don't think you can see it, but there's a little ripple here, because remember, this paper, this card is just shy of 6 1/4, and the die cutting machine is based for 6 inches. So, you know, I was kind of pushing it, but when I saw that I wanted to use these cards, I thought, let's give it a try, and it worked. So, but on this one that I just did for you, I think that putting this through first and stopping when I got to the crease part, it saved this. So just something to think about when you're putting your dies in. All right, so I've got a nice die cut there. Now let's grab an envelope here too. And I've already cut out, I'm going to do some other die cutting with the mini cut and emboss machine, but I've already done these little white daisies with that die that's in here with this one, and I've already die cut those too. Let's see, what am I looking for here? And if you were here last week, remember I did the picture this die set, the standalone one, and I had a whole bunch of these left over. So I pulled that out of my little stash, and that's what I'm going to use to stamp on. Okay, so let's do these cute little daisies. My sample card is a little bit different, but I will show you that. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'll do something different. I'm going to, instead of that up in the corner, I'm going to stamp here with this little curved "You Are a Blessing," and I'm going to put that right in this curve. Okay, I'm kind of thinking on the fly here today. And because I'm going to do it in black, and that black can always be kind of wonky, I'm going to put this in the Stamparatus, because then I can stamp it as many times as I want to get a good crisp image. So I like this "You Are a Blessing." And since this is photopolymer, okay, let me give you a trick here too. First of all, let me get the magnet down here. There we go. When you use photopolymers, many times your paper will stick. Grab your bone folder and use that to slip under there to hold that down. Now, I know there was a glare there, but that will hold your paper down if it's going to slip. So let me double check that and make sure that's where I want it. Okay. This might be a good time to pull out that second magnet, which I don't always use, and put it way far away from the first one. And since this is photopolymer, I do have the foam mat that comes with the Stamparatus down there underneath. Okay, so let's grab the Memento and put a stamp pad or a stamp set underneath it so it's flat. Tap that down there. Now, rarely when I use black do I get a good crisp image the first time around. And that would be okay, but I don't think it's good enough. So I'm going to do it again. Usually 3 times is what I need. Now, chances are that Memento pad needs to be re-inked as well. Now, with 2 magnets, it shouldn't move, but I'm going to do it a 3rd time. Now, I got ink there, but fortunately with the Stamparatus, typically that's going to be fine and not get on anything, but I'm going to wipe it off just in case. Okay. Oh, that looks great. I love that. Remember, you do not want to kiss your magnets at all. Good to put them away, or at least leave one out. And while I think of it, I'm also going to clean that stamp because I might use it later. I'm not sure if I'm going to or not. And I may use the Stamparatus later too, but I know that it would go on in a different place. So I'm just going to take it off and put it away. So it doesn't, something doesn't end up like my thank you stamp. It's the just wanted to say thanks stamp that flew away somewhere. All right, so now let's put these little daisies on here. And I have the 3 little centers that I'll show you this when I show you the sample, how I got those. But we don't have a Mango Melody Stampin' Blend, but I am going to color it with, what is this? What did I pull out? So Saffron. Let's put these on here. Just kind of hold that down. All right. got some dimensionals. Goodness, it's quiet today. Rose and Shirley, you're here. There could be some watching on Facebook, but if they're there, they haven't left any comments. So this is going up on a dimensional for the flower, or for this, for the center. Oh, you won't believe this, you guys. Friend picked me up this morning to go to the doctor. I don't know if you were here last week or not, but I had a little injection put in my knee this morning. And I could have driven, but I wasn't really sure. So she took, but anyway, I digress here. Let's put that in there. I got out of the car and she said, is that a flower over there on one of your plants in the front of the house? I said, no, I think it's just a piece of paper or something. Well, I went over and looked, and yes, it was a flower that has bloomed because of all this warm weather. I'm not sure what it is though. All right, so let's see. This one definitely needs to get tucked under because it looks like I got a little bit short on one of those pretty leaves. So I hate to have things start to bloom so early because we just know that we're going to get another snow. Let's go up here. All right, now I have already die cut some of these flowers or leaves with soft succulent. And I'm just going to put those on with some glue too. And grab my tweezers. I love using these tweezers. Put a little dot on those leaves. And kind of slip that under there. Now these die cuts come from the Around the Bend set. And there are different ones. This is different than the one that I just put in there. The dies and the stamps in one package. You know what? I don't believe they have because there are a lot of people who still don't have a die cutting machine or do that, and they just want the stamps. So it varies, and I don't know that issue has ever been addressed, but I don't believe so. But as a customer, you can definitely email Stampin' Up! and ask that question. Okay, that's probably a little bit too long, and I probably should have cut that off. Because remember, you have control over what you want to show, but it's okay. And I'm trying to decide if I really need this one. Yeah, I'll put it there. Would definitely save space, that's for sure. Another thing too that just popped into my head is the stamps are made in the United States at their manufacturing facility, and the die cuts, the dies, are not, which is many times the reason why some of our things go on unavailable until the dies come in. You could still get the stamp set, but the dies aren't available. So it varies from time to time, but that is a good thought and a good question. All right. I don't think we need any more bling on that. I like it. It's simple. And something on my screen. I don't know if that's showing on your screen or not. But You Are a Blessing, plain white inside, very quick and simple. Going to go in this nice little envelope. And here was the original one that I made for my prototype. So we've got this one and this one. And this one I made with obviously the blue and the mint macaron. Lots of flowers and leaves down there, and hello there. And then this was another little die cut. And a little bow. All right. And then I already had one ready just in case I had a problem with that kind of catching on the side there, but it didn't. And I think that was because I put the die through first. Okay, so let's do the next one. And with this, I'm going to use this die. Lots of cuts on that one. So I'm using a piece of Blackberry Bliss. This is the, I already forget the name of it from the celebration, the something flowers. Favored Flowers. And there is a set that goes with it in the mini catalog called Fragrant Flowers Bundle, which I don't have. I didn't get that one. So I'm going to put a piece of basic white on the inside. And this is the basic 5.5 by 4 1/4, or scored at 4 1/4, 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I have a piece of this beautiful paper. Hey, LJ. Thank you. Yep, catch the replay. And this is, I believe, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And I'm going to take, in order to do the layering that I want, I've got a piece of Blackberry Bliss that is 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. So I'm going to be putting two pieces through the die cut machine at the same time, but because this is designer paper and this is cardstock, it will take it just fine. So my goal here is for this particular card, not so much the die cut that I'm going to get from this, but from the leftover part from up here. So hopefully that will make sense, and hopefully I will, let's see, do this the right way. Because this could go either way, but I want this curved part up here. So essentially, you could get two cards out of this one cut. One, which is the one that I'm making, that's going to give me this curved part up here. And then another one that's going to give this cutout right here. So let's Let's make sure these stay together. Now this is long enough that it does go over the edge a little bit, but definitely not as long as that other one was with the paper. Thank you, Shirley. I had so much fun playing down here yesterday. I had a little bit of time getting started to make sure, like, there's so much you can do with this. And it's like, oh, what am I going to do? So let's get this back here. Now, normally, I have a lot of things already cut out before we start, but because learning how to use these die cuts is pretty much essential to the way this is going to go, I thought it was important to show this on screen. And may need another piece of that Post-it tape just to make sure this doesn't split, to hold the paper, the cardstock to the paper. Okay, so I've got the die cut stuck down. Now I'm going to put a piece of tape up here too. Okay, and I'm going to put that at a little bit of an angle. Sometimes putting one of these thick dies through here is better if it goes at an angle. And obviously I moved it, and I will stand up again so I get a better view of this and make sure that that's what I want it to do. Believe me, it will be worth it when I get done. Now this is one that I'm also going to go back and forth go back through, because there's lots of tiny little holes in there, and I want to make sure that they're all going to pop out. Now, if they don't, here's another trick for you. Okay, that already fell off. Turn it over and look on the back and see if all of those holes have cut. And yes, they did. So let's hope this came out the way I wanted it to. Yay. Now this part's left over, and that could be useful too. Although you've got all those holes in the flowers, I'm not exactly sure. I tried a card with one left over like this, and it didn't thrill me, so I didn't use it. So this was what I was looking for, this part right here. Okay, and I still have this part for another card. The part that comes out with the designer paper, not so much. But this is another perfect piece for card number 2. So with this technique, you can get 2 beautiful cards, which I will show you. And I just tap those off of there. And then you have to get out the vacuum because you've got all these things all over the floor, but it's worth it. Okay. I am making a mess. Get this going the right way. All right, so this is what I want to come below that. Now, black would have probably looked good with this too, because this black background is just stunning. But I do want it to match this. So it's kind of tone on tone. My original one was Fresh Freesia. So I don't know, maybe I would want to switch to Fresh Freesia. Hold on a minute here. Might need some, ooh, what do you think? I think it looks better on the Fresh Freesia. Okay. We'll just have some layers on here. All right. So I want to add some adhesive to this. Oops. What happened here? Every once in a while this happens, you guys, and I get my dyslexia. Okay, I did it on the wrong side. That's why. Turn the paper over, Pat. I always say that. It's like, oh, hello. Duh. All right. Okay, so you like this with the tone on tone, and I could pop this up, or I could put it on this one. Let's turn this over because that was the other. I don't know. There'll be a lot of layers if I do it that way because I don't have a piece of Fresh Freesia cut for a full card base. You wouldn't believe my mess. Okay, I think I'm going to go with my original and pop this up. Now another, I don't know, I kind of like that. It just gives it a different bit of texture. I'm going to go with it. Okay. Let's put this back over here. And just glue it down and not pop it up because I do have more pretties to put on here, which you will see in a minute. Okay. So it's just, yeah, Ellen. Oh, hi, Ellen. Vellum would be very good there too. I was going to play around with the vellum yesterday, and then I got distracted and just kept playing with this. This would also be nice if I made this to pop up and flip up too. As I said, there are so many things you can do with this set of dies and paper without ever even using the stamp set. That's totally whatever. All right, now this is not going to do what I intended it to do because I want to show you something else. All right, so let me think about this. Okay, this is what happens when I stamp on the fly because my brain goes in lots of different directions. Okay, that just fits. And let's do the hello there. There we go. You mean this beautiful shimmer paper? Yes. I've already glued it down. Yeah, I had something I wanted to show with this shimmer paper, which I'll show you on another sample. Let me see here, you guys. Thanks for hanging with me. And I might not put a sentiment on there. Maybe I can flip that up. This is what's fun about creativity, I guess. Being creative. Let's see if I can make this do what I want it to do. Okay, with this then I can use the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is really what I wanted to show today anyway. Let's back out of here. I already had some paper I was going to use and then decided not to. A couple of weeks ago, our concept artists gave a new tip on using the mini cut and emboss machine, because so many times people have trouble getting it through, whether you offset the plates a little bit this way. They suggested, and it does work, to make the letter E. So basically your plate 1 is going to stick out. Your plate 2 is going to go here. Let's put this paper on here. And then your other plate 2 will go out to match up the plate 1. So if you look at that close, if I'm looking at it, it looks like the letter E. Let's get it. Can't get it in the screen. Okay, it looks like the letter E, kind of upside down, if you get the drift. So 1 and the top 2 match one another. The second one, the first plate 2 goes back a little bit. So that's the offset that they're suggesting. So now that I've talked about that, let's get these lined up again. And it should go through pretty easily. Now, once your handle starts to move, you know that the plates have engaged and it's going to go through. And because this one is so much lighter, it does move around, but oh my gosh, it's so much easier to have this for small dies. Okay, let's see if this is gonna work. And it should be gorgeous. Let's grab the scissors and snip there a little bit. Now, what I'm thinking is, I should have done this upside down. Isn't that right? Because that's where, yep, I should have done it upside down. All right, I hate to waste this paper, but okay, I'm not going to waste the paper, but I understand. Just make sure you understand what I'm thinking. When I put this through, I should have done it so that the paper, this beautiful paper, is upside down to give me that curve that I want. The way it came out is not going to slip under there to do what I want to do. Does that make sense? So I will try to get one of these made and post it on the Facebook page, and use this paper for something else. And this probably is not good to do much with. I don't know. It's not the full thing. But anyway, let's go back to, I love that idea though. Let's go back to Hello There. With Versamark and Embossing Buddy. Thank you guys for hanging in there. But this is the way we learn. If I had thought about it, and I thought about it too late, you turn that paper, that glimmer paper, upside down, and it is gorgeous. I'll show you the sample. Okay, so let's do this again. I had to use that little Embossing Buddy so I can put Hello There. And that looks good. With some powder under there. Okay. I do too, Rose. That's good. Yes. So I think this gold will kind of help offset that tone on tone color. I wasn't planning to emboss today. I could do that. There we go. Yeah, I wasn't planning to emboss today, but that works. And let's add a brushed brass butterfly to match the gold. And then I will show you the samples that I have for today. I love these butterflies. I hope we keep them. So there's one up there, and let's put a large one down here as well. Did I not get, okay. There is, that's funny. I did not go underneath it enough to get there's a little glue dot, the shape of that butterfly that stayed right on that paper. So it didn't come off. Let's see if these scissors are going to work, or I need to get my tweezers. Yeah, sometimes the little glue dot that is on these papers don't always come off. All right, so there. It could probably use a ribbon or a bow, but I think I will move along and show you the other samples, which I really like. And then I will play with that concept of the paper. I'm not going to let this go to waste. I will do this with something else. Do something else with it, I mean. But I did use that glimmer paper, which is incredible. It is, it's actually called Fine Shimmer Paper. It's on page 15 in the mini, and it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And it comes in soft succulent, fresh freesia, and gold. So check that out. All right, so here we go. All right, so we've got this one. Get some of my mess out of the way. But I love all your ideas and suggestions. And yeah, the fresh freesia probably would have been better. And if I'd have had another piece cut, that would be good. Okay, so here we have today. And then these are the other samples that I made. Now here is the one that I did where this part was left over. And this was done with Rich Razzleberry and not Blackberry Bliss. Even though this paper is Blackberry Bliss. But this one worked out well. And I also ran this through one of the new embossing folders that will be available with the online exclusives. And fussy cut this out and popped it up. Okay, here is one that did do what I wanted it to do with You Are a Blessing under there. And instead of using the daisies that come with the die set, I used the glimmer paper. And then this is also the glimmer paper. I don't know if you can see this, but I tried to color it Old Olive, so they worked a little bit better with this Dainty Designs paper. And then this has a, I forget the name, flat adhesive backed pearl there in the center. This I love because it's just so bright and cheerful. And this is one embossed, and then that curve there, and then this little bit coming out underneath. So you have to run this separate, and then obviously put that behind it in a certain way so that those come out. So, and that doesn't have any sentiment on it either. I just love that one. Here's another one. You Are a Blessing. And on this one, I fussy cut some of the paper flowers from that Dainty Designs. That's a piece of work there to get all those little flowers, but they're so delicate and cute. Dainty, I guess, is what they call them. And You Are a Blessing. Love that. Here's another one where I had a leftover piece with the bubbles, I guess you would call it, and use the Hello Beautiful, which is a $100 offering for celebration, and one of the dragonflies that's in the mini catalog. This one was fun. I already had this one. I just needed to fussy cut it out. There's no die cut for this. And just kind of made some with the blending brushes along the side. And then one more. This one is just that curve at the top. And another one of those circles from the leftover Picture It dies that I had from last week. A little bit of Blushing Bride, kind of like a suede paper. And some butterflies. And this, A Paper Hug from Me, is the die, or the stamp was just sitting here. And that's typically what I put on the back of my cards. And I thought, it needs something, so I just put that there. So it makes it great for a card sentiment as well. So with that in mind, ladies, thank you for joining in and staying with me today. I had a lot of fun, and I will see you next week on Monday. Is that the 27th? I think, something like that. So take care. Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the good weather if it's where you are.